Hello, everybody. My name is Sigrid Prehofer, and I'm a PhD candidate and research associate at Sirius University of Stuttgart. And today I would like to share a work on knowledge integration, which was meant already sometimes in the morning in hybrid scenario construction. Thanks for having the opportunity. Hybrid scenario construction, meanwhile, is very common to better address complex problems, but it also raises high expectations. First, with hybrid scenarios, it is expected to benefit from the advantages of both approaches and counterbalance respective weaknesses. Second expectation is that hybrid approaches get out of the dominance of using only numerical models only, and thus obtain a more balanced perspective. And a third expected benefit is that through hybrid approaches, the underlying and often implicit assumptions of model-based scenarios can be made more explicit. But despite the success and appeal of hybrid approaches, there are also important challenges. First is the internal consistency, once in the qualitative scenarios, but also consistency between storylines and model-based scenarios, which are difficult to achieve in practice. Second is that qualitative scenarios can suffer from a lack of transparency. And final issue relates to the combining, merging, and translating from data from quantitative and qualitative exercises. And key to most of these expectations and challenges is interdisciplinary knowledge integration. And in this presentation, we take a look at a specific hybrid scenario approach, which is called context scenario approach. This was the cross-impact balance analysis was also mentioned today in the morning. It's a qualitative, semi-formalized systematic approach to construct scenarios. And it is able to integrate qualitative and quantitative information and conceptualizes qualitative networks, including the main drivers of future development, which is called descriptors, and also the qualitatively or quantitatively defined future variants. And it is expert-based and defines hindering and fostering impact assessments to the nodes of this network. Well, finally, the consistent scenarios are obtained by calculating the Nash equilibria of the cross-impact data. And these qualitative scenarios are then coupled or linked with energy modeling. And this approach is also published by Mayele and colleagues. And coming back to the expectations and challenges of hybrid approaches, we try to explore the performance of this approach regarding interdisciplinary knowledge integration. I don't want to go into detail to the cases we compared to get our data, but just to give you a short overview, the three cases were very different due to their objectives, their constellations, and also applications of the CIB and the context scenario approach. Our questions were twofold. First, we wanted to analyze how context scenarios based on CIB methods and energy modeling can be structured based on the three cases, and which designs are effective to create hybrid scenarios. And the second question, we wanted to analyze the performance of these methodologies regarding knowledge integration and ask what effects the linking design, the CIB itself, and the interplay of different methods do have on interdisciplinary knowledge integration. And to be able to analyze how knowledge was integrated, not only in the results, but also due to all the different steps taken until the final results, we defined three forms of interdisciplinary knowledge integration. First, we called it compiling, which refers to activities when separate bodies of knowledge are produced by different disciplines. And these disciplines might use separate methods, concepts, and so on. And once the analysis is achieved, these products are only compiled, meaning there is one perspective on energy system from one discipline and another perspective from another discipline. Furthermore, compiling can also refer to adding up of knowledge, which already exists or also can newly be produced. The second is combining. The second form is combining, which refers to activities that go beyond the accumulation of different disciplinary approaches, and it aims at the production of jointly usable content. At this aim, combining often requires using translation methods, which translate content produced by one discipline to become understandable and also be potentially further processable by another discipline. And last, synthesizing refers to interdisciplinary activities in which researchers using joint or closely coupled methods or concepts, and the aim is to develop a new kind of knowledge as a new content. Now I come to the selected results. Overall, from our empirical study, we found two basic designs, two designs to link context scenarios and energy models. First is the CRB as provider, which is the basic design, and the second is the extended design, CRB as equal partner. CRB as provider means that energy models use consistent context scenarios that have been derived by a CRB analysis, and the results of both are interpreted separately. So the CRB, so to say, provides a service to the energy model, and the final product are energy scenarios with consistent socio-technical framework assumptions, but it's the result of the energy model. CRB as equal partner means it's optional, and it means that the two approaches are of equal value for the final product. The final product are socio-technical energy scenarios, and therefore specific energy scenario results they are reflected explaining the basis of the underlying societal implications. So for each result, there is also the societal background, and the scenario then is a mixture of the societal backgrounds with the implications in energy development. And within the design of the CIB as provider, we also found two alternatives concerning the position. One, I will make it short because I think I ran out of time. The position of the context scenarios and the quantification can be different. The context scenarios can be at the second step, meaning that the energy model enables the definition of input requirements for the subsequent context scenario construction. And if it's done the other way around, the decision is still open which energy model to be used, and the context scenarios then make mental models and context assumptions explicit and serve, so to say, to select or adapt the final model. Yes, so I go further. Additional to this two general roles of CIB in the linking design, CIB can resume also more specific roles within the relationship of context scenarios and models. And I think the names speak for themselves. So CIB can function as a meta language provider for interdisciplinary groups. It can be input data provider. It can be a manager of context assumptions for a multi-model exercise. It can function also as context uncertainty dealer, conceptual modeling, and a knowledge container. If you have questions on this, I can answer them maybe later. So now to the effects of knowledge integration, effects of CIB and the linking designs. I do not go into detail here too, but generally we found that the linking from context scenarios and energy models refers to predetermined or trade-off effects of CIB on knowledge integration, meaning that, for example, if CIB is applied to fulfill the roles of a manager of context assumptions or the role of a meta language provider, this automatically leads to the knowledge integration form combining, as different perspectives of knowledge needs to be codified in a joint form. And in case of CIB, these are descriptors and variants and the specific impact scale, coding the interrelations. And well, the same is for input data provider. The analyzing of interdependencies with the CIB balance algorithm automatically leads to joint knowledge. And as it integrates the pairwise impact assessments into an impact network, this we could identify as synthesizing knowledge. But there are also effects which are not predetermined, but offers trade-offs. For example, I just give one example, the knowledge container. Using CIB as knowledge container can lead to compiled knowledge combined and synthesized knowledge. For example, in an interdisciplinary team, mostly you also have to handle dissent, and depending on how you how dissent is handled, like you keep dissent within the matrix or you solve dissent within the matrix, this could lead to different forms of knowledge. For example, if CIB is used as context uncertainty dealer, also combined or synthesized knowledge is possible. As case 3, for example, used only one scenario to link with energy models. The future uncertainty space, there was no knowledge about future the future space, so this was only identified as combined knowledge.
Excuse me, 3 minutes, yeah. Please.
Okay. The effects of the linking design and interplay of different methods on knowledge integration, we found that all three, all linking designs were able to produce new knowledge, so knowledge was synthesized. And within the basic design, we found that the position of CIB had no effect on the form of knowledge integration, while the position of quantification, if this was made as part of the context scenario construction or as part of the energy modeling, this had an effect on the form of knowledge integration. Well, now I come to the conclusions. Well, this was an explorative and qualitative study, and with only 3 case studies, but we nevertheless think there are some aspects which have still general theoretical validity, and those are the general structure of linking. So we found a joint 10-step procedure to construct context scenarios. And we also think that the roles of CIB and their effects on knowledge integration might have general validity. for sure, there could be more roles which we were not able to identify in these 3 case studies. Well, yes, the linking designs and the trade-off effects concerning content and form of knowledge integration, we think that they might also have validity. And in the beginning of the presentation, I raised the expectations and challenges of hybrid scenario construction, and there, due to these, there are also 2 more aspects we think are important in that relation. One is the more balanced power between qualitative and quantitative scenarios, and with the context scenario approach, especially in the extended linking design, where both methods are of equal value, but also the basic design showed significant interplay between both concepts. And well, the transparency and traceability can also be improved by the approach, and as it is also a prerequisite for specific forms of knowledge integration in different process steps, this is also one aspect which can be positive in the context scenario approach. Well, that's it. If you have questions, just give me a hint.
Thank you very much. I think that we have a little time for questions from people.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone like to ask Sigrid a question? If nothing comes to mind, I certainly can ask, as somebody who's not an expert on CIB, whether you have, could you illustrate with some example of how you're basically talking about the potential of CIB, which is multiple facets of its potential to improve, I guess, the qualitative and quantitative contributions to scenarios. Is there a sort of a example that you can give that would clarify what you mean by this contribution of CIB, or some of its different facets?
Yeah, well, one major positive aspect is that it's systematic, and that with the matrix, all the knowledge which is put into from different experts and so on is stored in this matrix. And also you are able to store the arguments, not only the assessment which is taken between the networks, also the nodes of this network, and this enables a lot of interpretation afterwards. For example, in one case, there were 72 interviews made to get this impact assessments, and in the other one, another case, there was a workshop with 10 experts, and this was handled totally different. So in the workshop, they wanted to get one assessment within the whole group, and case 2 decided to keep all these, the whole scientific discourse. And in the end, we had amount of scenarios, and by storing all these arguments from the different experts and disciplines and whatever, in the end, it was able to much better interpret the dynamics of the scenarios. As you know, exactly that effect, also option A has an effect on option D because of whatever, and this is one of the main aspects which are I think going in that direction. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you very much.